Hey y'all, Rebecca here again. I am making a Philly steak and cheese sandwich today, several of them, hopefully, plus some little extras in between. I have got 2 pieces of ribeye steak, and the first thing we're going to do is beat them to death, make them a little bit more tender. So give me just a second. I'm going to rearrange so you can see what I'm doing rather than just look at my face. Hold up. Now we're going to see if I can do this without knocking off everything on my counter and in the kitchen. I don't know where my big hammer is, so we're just going to have to do this. So we're just going to beat it a couple of times and I'll be right back. So this is the difference in one piece of meat being smacked and the other one not. Actually, this could probably stand to be beat a little bit longer, but I'm kind of over it. All right, we're going to beat this other one and get to the next step. Alrighty, so our next step, what we're going to do is, we're going to get some butter. Put it in our pan. Pay no attention to the mess. I made spaghetti for a little boy a minute ago. There's remnants still all over. So, we're going to get the butter, get it melting, and we're going to put some of the minced onion, probably about, I don't know, a tablespoon or 2, and garlic powder, and pepper. Then we're going to cut up this here meat. Now, it's kind of similar to making the roast that I've done before. You're going to want to cut it into small pieces. And this knife is not very sharp. After you get it all cut up into small pieces, you're going to put it in your pan. And what you're doing is you're just searing the meat. Okay? Now, if you have fresh onion that you want to chop up and fresh garlic that you want to chop up, that would be mo better. But I'm kind of being lazy. So, I went with the seasonings here. So, somebody need to sharpen these knives. My word. All right, I got to get a fork. So, you're just searing the meat. And then after you sear it on all 4 sides, you're going to put your lid on. And that, my friends, is what makes your meat so tender. Don't keep lifting the lid and checking on it. It's still going to be there. You sear it and then you turn down the heat. Obviously, all this is insane. It just sharpened one for me, but I don't know which one it was. Apparently, it's not that one. Ugh. I'm fixing to get my scissors out. Not even kidding. So, get them all in like bite-sized pieces. That's the size I'm going for. After we do that, we're going to throw them in the pan and get them searing. And all that does is it traps in the flavor so it don't ooze out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to finish cutting up this meat. May take me a couple of hours. I don't know. I gotta find a sharper knife. And when I get it all cut up, I'll be right back. Okay, we have got it all cut up. Let's see, let me move this. Set that there for now. We've got this all cut up and put in our pan. We are searing the meat to lock in them flavors so they don't seep out while they're cooking. I'm gonna add a little bit more spices because I didn't really put that many in to begin with. That's what happens when you eyeball stuff. You sometimes have to do it 2 or 3 more times. So we're gonna do a little bit more garlic powder, a little more salt, and Scott really likes this roasted garlic and herb. So I'm going to put some of that in here. And then, of course, dill. Dill is one of our favorite things next to garlic. And then, show you what it looks like. So we're going to get that all seared up. I did put my secret ingredient in there, which, if you remember what that is, what is it? Mustard. So we got that going. Don't look at any mess that you may see behind me. We'll do that. So we're going to get this seared up. May have to turn up the fire a little bit. Get all these flavors combined and doing what they do, getting in that meat to make it yummy. It smells delicious. Well, the fun part is going to come when I go to look for my lid. Not 100% sure it's where it's supposed to be. Let us see. That ain't it. Oh, there it is. Oh. It's a wee bit dusty. Let's rinse her off. So, whilst I was getting ready to make this, I was thinking about what are like the basic seasonings one would need for their kitchen. Get on there. I don't think this is the right. This is not the right lid. No, it's not. Ay. Oh, is that it? That don't fit. That does not fit. I see. Oh my word. I never use this lid. Okay. Ta-da! Now then, let's see, is that, we just wipe it off. Just steam, right? Steam's supposed to clean things. Ain't no food on it. All right. No. Get in there. So, I was thinking about a list of spices that you should always keep on hand in your kitchen. What do you think number 1 is? Da-da-da-da. Salt. Any kind of salt. We use the pink Himalayan salt. Hang on a second. I guess having to bend down has hurt my back. Stinks to get old. Anyway, so salt is one of the key ingredients everyone must have in their kitchen, um, for obvious reasons. There are many different kinds of salts out there, as I have learned. Um, there's just the regular table salt that is most popular, I would presume. And now they have sea salt, they have kosher salt, they have this pink Himalayan salt that we came across a while back. Um, it has a lot of benefits. It's got zinc in it, magnesium, calcium, one more, and I can't remember what it is. But there's several benefits with the pink Himalayan salt. It's actually mined like regular salt, um, typically in the Punjab region of Pakistan. Yeah, done some homework for you. And because of where it's mined at, I guess that's what makes it pink, the pink tint. You can get it fine, or you can get the bigger chunks. The second must-haves in your kitchen: black pepper. Not necessarily black pepper, but much like salt, there are many different kinds of pepper. We use just the regular over every day of the week pepper. Why we bought McCormick, I have no idea. It must have been on sale. But I normally buy whatever is the cheapest. Now, if you choose to use the peppercorns and ground them up yourself, be very, very careful. I ruined an entire batch of my brown gravy mix because I had, what was it? I think it was an extra quarter of a teaspoon of that pepper with the regular pepper, which I think it only called for a quarter of a teaspoon of regular pepper. And what had happened was I was just playing around with my mortar and pestle, and I ground up some peppercorn, and I didn't want to waste it because I'm so cheap. So I just put it in there, thinking, no big deal. Well, I forgot because it was about 2 days in between that, and I went ahead and added the pepper that it calls for. So there was a half a teaspoon of pepper altogether. It's just half of it was from the ground up peppercorn. Oh my, it was so, I love spicy stuff. Love it. It was too hot for me. I couldn't eat it. So we're going to do that. Be super careful. The next must-haves in your seasoning department: garlic powder. Um, it gives things so much more flavor than not having it. We are big garlic lovers around here. Like, I use this right here is it's 11 ounces, and I go through, I think it's like a little over $3. I go through one in no time. It's kind of bad, but and I also use fresh garlic as well. So we love garlic. So it gives a lot of good flavor, no matter what you're cooking. If you're cooking Italian, if you're cooking Mexican, I use it in everything. Next, must-haves: onion, minced onion. Um, if you don't like, why is this? Wait a minute. Okay. Um, if you don't like the chunks, because this is minced, it's what I just used in there. They're little, like, they're just dehydrated onion flakes. They're not really big, but they are chunks. So if you don't like that, you can always get onion powder. It just gives it so much more flavor than not having it. Anytime I'm browning hamburger meat, I always put if I don't have the fresh chopped up onions, I always put these in there. And he is like, Scott will come in, what are you cooking? It smells so good. And I'm like, I'm browning hamburger. But it gives it so much flavor. So you want to keep that on hand. Now, these are my opinions of what you need in your kitchen. This is not what like they tell you. This is just my opinion, woman to woman, or whoever you are watching. What I keep on hand and do my best to not run out, though I have before. Number, what are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is number 5. Number 5 is dill. Now, we grow our own normally, but we ran out. It did last us a couple of years, and we had a bunch. But dill on steak, you just have no idea. Tastes so good. Just gives it kind of a fresh flavor, if you will. Those are my, was there something else? Oh, cinnamon. Gotta have cinnamon. That's another thing. Cinnamon, for obvious reasons. Anytime you're baking, cinnamon will undoubtedly go in there. When I make anything with eggs, I put a little bit of cinnamon in there. Like French toast, my breakfast casserole that I make, I put cinnamon in there. It gives it just a little bit of, it's not overpowering. You don't want to put a bunch in there, but it's good to have that on hand as well. There was something else. What was it? Let me go look at my list. It's all written in my notebook that I don't have in front of me. So let me go look at that and I'll be right back. There was way more than just one more. So the next thing is paprika. Paprika is, it gives things a little bit of a spice, a little bit of a kick. It's also, there's a picture of red bell peppers on there. It's a little bit of sweet, but not really. But it's more spice, more heat than anything. You can get, I paid 50 cents for this. It was on clearance though. But you can get like this size, this brand, and it's usually just $1. So paprika is another one. Paprika is really good on chicken and fish for some reason. Number, I don't know how many we're on. The next one is crushed red pepper. Now, these are the things that are at the pizza place. You get those little packets. That's all this is. And again, it just gives you the heat. Really spicy. You can put it in just about anything you want, really, to give it some heat. Number, I don't know how many. Next one is chili powder. This is really good for any kind of Mexican dish or Southwest style dish. Just, what, a quarter of a teaspoon to a half a teaspoon does wonders. Just a reminder, our steak here for our Philly steak and cheese is in the pan. I've got the fire turned down, and it's basically just steaming. It's going to be so good and so tender. The next seasoning you should keep in your spice cabinet is celery flakes or celery powder. Again, if you don't like the chunks, you can always go with the powder. This is really good in soups. I put it in my soups all the time, like your chicken noodle soup, chicken and dumplings. Yes.
Yeah, run and get some dog food in you.
I only drank 2 though this morning. I still have 1. I love you. I get to kiss him all the time. Where was I at? You done messed me up. The celery. You put it in, anything you want. Obviously, these seasonings you use them to spice up your meals. You can try it on anything. It's not like it can only be for this or only be for that. You can use it for anything you want. Play around with it. Don't be afraid. I was so afraid for so many years. I just wouldn't dare use anything. I used the same plain thing all the time for years upon years because I was just so scared I was going to mess something up. And crazy. I can't find mine right now, but another one is just a bottle of Italian seasoning, and that's what it's going to say right on the bottle, Italian seasoning. And it's exactly what it says it is. It's just a blend of several different, like oregano, basil, coriander, cumin, just all different kinds, mainly for Italian type meals or dishes. But again, you can use it however you want. I used Cavender's Greek seasoning on everything I made for years. I'm like 20 years probably. Crazy. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's really good. But I was terrified to try anything else. And I put it on my hamburgers. I put it on my roast, on my pork chops. And again, it tastes really, really good. But I was just so afraid to try anything new. And that's kind of my MO. I find something I like and I stick with it. I don't change. I don't like trying new things. I'm a creature of habit, So, there's that. So that's our group of spices that I think one should have in their kitchen at all times. Don't ever let yourself run out. And remember, if you don't like the chunks of the minced onion or the celery flakes or anything, you can get the powder and it's you won't have the chunks. It'll just dissolve in there and give you the flavor and you won't have that chunk. So, all right, let's check on this here meat. Thank you, baby. Woo! That's a little hot. That's a little hot. Woo! Look at that. Look at that. Give it a little stir. Smells good. Although I think it needs some more something. Let's see. Let's put in some more pepper. Like I said, you don't want to lift this too many times because you're letting out that steam, which is going to help make your meat tender. Hold on. Okay, so also on these seasonings, ideally it's best to store all your seasonings away from your stove or an oven. What was that noise? Was that the cat? You burping? At least it wasn't the other. Anyway, it's not ideal to store them right next to your oven or stove because of the heat. It'll mess it up. It can also make the seasonings lose their potency. I don't know how many times I have reached for my garlic powder and it just be one big old glob in there, and then you got to do that, and it gets everywhere, and it's a big mess. But it does lose its potency anyway after 6 months or so, they say, whoever they are. So be mindful of that. It's very handy to keep it all right next to you, but just a little FYI, do with that what you will. Let me do a couple of things and I'll be right back. The next thing we have to do is, I need to get a plate. our cheese. Now the cheese, you can use whatever kind of cheese you want for your Philly steak and cheese. We are going to be using mozzarella. And a little trick I've used over the years. Can't see it. Of course you can't see it. You're way up there. Okay. You see it now? I put my shredder directly into my baggie that I've already written what it is on there and the date. Excuse me. So, I don't like the pre-shredded cheese. I've never bought that. Well, I won't say never. I have a few times. I don't like it though. I don't like that waxy garbage that's on it. It does not taste good. To me, it doesn't melt very easy at all. In fact, it tends to glob up. So I just prefer to shred my own cheese. And normally, I will shred it all at once so I don't have to do this every time. Because, I mean, it'll keep for quite a while. I'll use it long before it'll go bad. At our Christmas celebration when my kids were here, I had an entire pound of cheddar cheese that I sliced up all nice and pretty with my handy dandy slicer. I don't think anybody ate one piece. The whole stinking block sat there and got hard, and whoo, I was mad. But I made so much food. Nobody wanted cheddar cheese with all the other stuff I had made. So this is a whole pound of mozzarella that we're going to shred up. Now, I have no idea how much we're going to use on this particular meal. There was 2 steaks. I think it was 3 pounds, if I remember correctly. So you're going to need at least 1 pound of cheese for that, right? Am I right? Or am I right?
I said yes.
I know. We do love cheese around here.
I'm sorry.
Little boy like cheese?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Honey?
What?
Look, you're gonna like this?
Nope. So we're going to finish shredding this up, and we'll check on the meat. Be back in a moment. So when you get all done shredding it, you just lift up the bag, give her a good little shake. No mess. Very little anyway. So I finally discovered what this tiny pan is good for. For when you forget, you need some onions sauteed for a sandwich. You get out this tiny little pan here, throw some butter in it, cut a few slices of onion. You can saute some onions in it. What in the world? Boy, that is on there. So I've taken the meat off the fire. You don't want it to get dried out. And I'm afraid I may be really close to that. Just wasn't paying attention to the time, and that it happened so easy, so quickly. Being that I cut it in such small pieces, it doesn't take long for it to cook. And I probably overcooked it a little. Just a little. So we're going to put some salt and pepper in with the onions to get them sauteing. And after that, we're going to make our sandwich. You can also put bell pepper on here. Saute that as well. I'm not going to do that. He doesn't like cooked bell pepper, but I am going to put some raw bell pepper on there. Again, this is your sandwich. You can make it however you choose. If you want mushrooms, which I am going to open up some mushrooms, put some mushrooms on top as well because he loves his mushrooms. In fact, let me run and get those out of the pantry right now. All this time I have been getting mushrooms that says stems and whatever. Well, I have discovered that he likes the whole buttoned mushrooms. So that's what we're going to use here. Put a little bit of this drippings from that in there. See how that does. And we're going to put some of the mushrooms in with the sauteed onion. So, there's my little. I also got some hoagie rolls. They are so soft too. I'm excited about that. I kind of have a thing for bread. I could eat my weight in bread. And here lately that's a lot. But that's all right. I'm working on it. So we're just going to cut this up and put it on the bread, and I will come back and show you what that looks like. Be right back. All right, let me tell you about cutting up these here mushrooms, these little button mushrooms. It is like trying to cut up a booger. Now, not that I've handled boogers a lot or for very long, but I can only imagine because it feels just like a booger. Oh, mushrooms are so gross. Why does he like these? They're so gross. I can't tell what it smells like because all I can smell is bell pepper. But the feeling, it. Anyway. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the top bun, I dug out a little bit of the bread, put my meat down. Now I'm going to put, let's see. Get this little doodad down here. And we're going to put our cheese down. Now, I didn't put much meat on this one because this one's mine. And I think, I don't want that on there now. So I'm going to stick this in the oven to melt the cheese, and his onions, the mushrooms are still sauteing. We're going to get those a little bit more done. Be right back. Ugh. I didn't have it going when I was making this sandwich. My word. All right, so we got the piece of bread, took out a little bit of the middle of the bun, put the meat down, put the sauteed mushrooms and onions on there. We're going to put this in the oven, get the cheese all melty, and be right back. Maybe. Come on. All right, this one right here was mine that I made. Let's see it. So I'm going to put my onions on. I wanted crunchy onions. Sometimes I like them sauteed, sometimes I don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. And then I'm going to put some raw bell pepper on mine as well. And then we're going to enjoy. Scott's will be out of the oven in just a second. Let's see. My bell pepper. The only thing I don't like about this is all your toppings kind of fall off. It's going to be very challenging to eat this, I'm afraid. And that I don't like. But the flavor already, oh my goodness. 'Tis amazing. A nice change from hamburgers, tacos, meatloaf, the same old stuff you eat all the time. And not any more expensive than that stuff, really. So I think I'm going to put some more cheese on mine. Can you ever go wrong with cheese? No. Put the top on that puppy. Good to go. Now we're waiting on Big Daddy's to come out of the oven. And we'll get his plated up for him. Be right back. All right. There's Big Daddy's sandwich. We're going to put the bell peppers on. Neither one of us like cooked bell pepper. We prefer them raw. Put a little something like that on there. And I think we're going to have a fork. Maybe a spoon. A spoon. Put the top on. That is now kind of hard. I'm going to go knit this real quick. All right. Like I said, it's upside down, but I kind of had to do that. Didn't have a choice. There is our sandwich. Yummy, yummy, delicious. And that is our version of a Philly steak and cheese. Hope you enjoyed everything. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think.